I'm a slow start. I just kind of
totally fine
into it. What do I need? I need water. Okay, am I confident? Okay, let's see. So do you go by Zack Morse, or wait, is it DJ Zack Morse, aka Aaron Sakai?
My moniker from before, I'm kind of trying to switch over to just Aaron Sakai, just to not confuse people. People actually think my name is Zack. So Aaron Sakai, but I am DJ Zack Morse.
Okay.
And Cavett popularized that to make it my moniker for the show. After I was long retired from DJing per se.
When were you DJing? You know?
First time DJing, I was 97.
1997.
I think 97. Okay. UH Raves, KCC Raves from 97. Then I retired 2010.
You youngins, all about retiring. Hello, I'm Kathy with a K, sometime radio broadcaster in Honolulu. Hawaii POV is a talk story series, Radio Music Hawaii. We know each other online in different social
media.
I wonder what they're going to call it in the future.
I don't even know if we're even going to look at each other. I was going to be like, there's like a hologram, like a glass mirror. We can like talk to each other like a weird Skype. I think we're just going to be more disconnected in some way.
This is Aaron Sakai. Were you a kid in the 1990s? And when I mean a kid, in elementary school, junior high?
Yeah, 1990 was, I have to think this out, I was 7th grade. 7th grade to high school, you're kind of into your own little thing. And it was heavily into the 90s stuff, 90s hip hop, pop culture, big into movies as well, and TV shows. 97, I think, was when I had to think of a DJ name. I was like, then I think it was somebody that even suggested, like, let's just call yourself like Zack Morse or something, or like a TV show. I'm like, oh.
And so the TV show, the reference is Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell, yes.
And we just, we're in February 2020, and this past weekend at the Hawaii Convention Center was Amazing Comic-Con Aloha 2020, and the actor Mark Paul Gosselaar was interviewed at the main stage, and he played the character Zack Morse.
That is correct.
Yeah, grab the audio from the board. So if you want to relive his.
Oh, I could just watch that again, and I gotta say though, it was a monumental.
You weren't in line to ask a question. I was kind of anticipating.
I thought about it. I was trying to think what to say. I was gonna maybe ask him something regarding like when he does timeout, and then everything pauses. But then somebody already asked that. I think it was some guy in Spider-Man pajamas. I don't know.
Yeah. Were you just kind of overwhelmed, like excited?
Yeah, I was like, this is just tripping me out. Like, of all these years, from 1997, really, finally get to meet this guy. It was exciting. I was nervous.
What did he mean to you? The character Zack Morse or the actor Mark Paul Gosselaar?
Well, just the overall of how he portrayed himself and just the whole. I mean, I don't really would, if I had to name like top 5 actors of all time, like, okay, he's not going to be in there. But as far as just an iconic thing that just drove me through different parts of my life, and just to see him in person, I'd probably trip out if all of them showed up, you know. But that'd be something else. I was DJing some event for nonfiction, which became information, where they started to sell clothes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Met him there. Asked me, oh, you know, like DJ on my show? Like, okay. And then pretty much the banter we have is from when we first met, we immediately hit it off. And when we would DJ together, we would always be in the back of the DJ booth, and we're always just making comments. And we're just talking a bunch of rubbish. Like, who's this guy? How's this girl? How come you with him? Like, rubbish. But it just, to us, we just was just making ourselves like laugh. And I think from there, this is what he told me, is why he and I felt we had the best chemistry to do something like this, where we'll be just us sitting around talking, like as if we're hanging out at a bar or just hanging out. That's how it became. And night before the show, he was like, oh, we're gonna call this thing Sleep Time's Over. Okay. And I get it, because Don't Sleep is his moniker for light sleepers. So offshoot, Sleep Time's Over. That was the name of how it was created. That was the birth of the name.
You're saying like how it's at a bar kind of approach. Was there drinking involved in the earliest recordings?
I wish. No,
You're like,
not at all.
I wish I did this, because now, now what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, but so many, so how many seasons or how many years was it you and Cavett? Because it started at K2H for Cavett, and then were you on that with him? On K2H?
I did a few, yes.
And then when it went to the podcast format.
That was at a store, Light Sleeper store.
And so from what year to what year was it like solidly the two of you before you?
That was June 2016 was the date we started this thing.
Okay.
And it was at his shop at 8 in the morning, because he wanted to do it before he opened. But he never opens on time, but that's another story. And so we would do the show, and we'd just be like, well, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, okay, well, I'll pull up some topics. I'll pull up things of the week. I'll pull up, okay, what happened in sports news? I'll go look up stuff, and then off we go. And that's basically week one, how it started. And we did it every week. Every Wednesday, we would record this Wednesday morning.
Any editing, or was it straight to tape and posted up?
He would do the audio. I would bring my iPad and film it. Just be like, why don't we just video this and, I don't know, see what we get. That was the slow birth of it. And then we made it seasons, season 1, season 2, episode 1, episode 2. And I always would be like, why are we doing this? Like, why don't we just keep it going? Why do we need seasons? And it was like, whatever. Like, we're not going to take a break.
When you lose track, it's like, yeah, we're not going to do it that way.
We're not going to do it. I mean, then we think, okay, this is the season finale. You know, I'm like, okay, then what? We're going to be back next week. What the hell are we doing? We're not taking 3 months off here, so... But I digress. And then we became that 2016, 2017. We did the 1-year anniversary party at Pine and Jigger. To backtrack a little bit, I kind of told him, I think the vision for this show, once we get this going, because at first we were like, put it out there, who cares? If anybody listens to it, all right. If nobody does, screw it. We're just, let's not try. Let's just go into it loose.
Yeah.
As it got more serious, I was kind of thinking, why don't we go and talk about stuff that's going to be not related to what his label is, what his design of Light Sleepers is, which is underground hip hop. That's his thing. Why don't we build your audience and build your sales and build your customer base to people that don't know who you are, and let's try it out. So that's what led to things like we would go and have people from bars be guests.
Still no alcohol.
No alcohol. Gavin doesn't drink anyway.
But you do, so you know.
Yes, so that's part of the moniker where he's the family guy, and then I'm the one that goes out. So then we have our different stories where we would recap, and he would talk about boys basketball, and I would talk about just drinking at Nobu or something. So it'd be an offshoot of how and then that was part of it. So and because I knew all these people in the bar industry, I was like, let's talk to these guys and like expose them to your brand, and then expose the people who like your brand to these guys, and just a meeting of the worlds kind of a thing. So that's what led to things like Pine and Jigger. Let's do a live show in Pine and Jigger. And that was the 1-year anniversary. And lo and behold, people came for that. It was like, anybody gonna come on? But we set up in there and off it went, and that was the 1 year. And then we decided to do a dinner, a 4-course meal dinner, where we do the show live, and we did that in Square Barrels. And I was like, there's no show out there doing a dinner where we're gonna go and talk it's like Perry and Price all over again, right? So what you eating today? Like, but so like, let's do it. I mean, why not? It's gonna be the younger version of Perry and Price, like the hip hop version. And then we even had as our guest that night, we had Rick Blangiardi. Because my day job is I'm a personal trainer. That's my day thing. And he was my client. So I would talk to him we'd talk about all kinds of stuff. And I'd be like, oh, you gonna come on my show? He's like, yeah, okay. And then off we went on that. And so then years went by, we would go to, we got Glenn Medeiros on, Casimiro on, Robert Casimiro. It was good fun. And so then it turned into like, why don't we just focus on making it a Hawaii show? Let's just like make it a show like about Hawaii. And like, we're all in this island. We all have our quirks. We all make fun of each other. We all are into all kinds of different things. Let's just embrace it and talk about it. We can joke about it. Joke about how people drive. Joke about how people are at longs. And then along with that, hip hop music. Along with that, other types of music, pop culture, sports, just a whole. That was it. That's kind of the evolution of the show. 2018 was the year where he made me sad. And that was the time when he was like, I don't know if I can do the show anymore. I'm like, what? You got to keep the store open, because, it was tough just to be there, So he said, oh, well, once we get to 100 episode, then I'm gonna have to get out. And I was like, and I tried convincing him, just because I can't see myself doing another show with another guy. I told him, so I can't do another show without you. But he was like, nah, you'll be all right, man. It's just high voice.
That's closer to Kevin.
So, yeah, it's good. So he's like telling me, it's gonna be okay, you're gonna be all right, whatever. I'm like,
had you taken a break in between, or you continued to do shows?
Oh no, we kept going. Yeah. We kept going, and then we also planned the second sleep time's over dinner. Amongst all of this, the same day he told me, I went to go meet at Coco Head Cafe with the chef there, Leanne Wong. And here I have this in the back of my head. I'm like, this dinner? What am I this dinner for? A show? So that just messed me up. But so the dinner, we kind of angled it where the dinner was the last time of Cabot being
in that
weekly,
official capacity.
Right. And then the dinner was just basically me crying the entire night.
Were you really like?
No, I'm kidding.
I'm like, watch that episode.
You see me crying all the time? Yeah. It wasn't that bad, but it was.
See that sizzle reel.
Yeah, I'll repost that on the IG. It was sad though, but well, we went through the dinner and.
You seem emotionally like that. It still kind of, moves you.
Oh yeah.
So when you think about
because
it.
I love him, there's.
Yeah.
I have no animosity towards him. If you were to say let's go do something, I'm all right.
Yeah, the door's not ajar; it's like wide open.
All right.
Like Cabot, like welcome Cabot, Matt.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So.
Like he's guest host. He's guest hosted with me several occasions. So it's not like. In fact, he's going to be on next month. Because we're going to be doing the finale at Pine and Jigger. They're closing, so I'm going to bring back a bunch of people in March. Right. So that's where I had to make the decision. Okay, what am I going to do with this thing? It's.
So that was in 2018.
2018, yeah. 2018 October was when the dinner was, and that was it. So like, okay, I had to first of all think, who am I going to get as a co-host if I wasn't confident in myself to be like, just be by myself and just, well, I'm going to talk to myself. I don't. If I can't do it with a guy, maybe I should do it with a woman.
The way you say it, it's just
let's
like,
find
if
one.
I can't do it with Cabot, then I'll just do it with a woman.
I need to find a woman, yes. Well, like how Grace Jones, I want a man. Well, I want a woman. And I was thinking maybe.
That's a good reference.
Grace Jones reference, you guys got that one? So I was like, maybe like we could do like a he said, she said situation, or I can talk a bunch of rubbish, then she can call me out on it. Something along the lines of like a Regis and Kelly situation, or like Howard Stern Robin situation.
Who are a few that, were jibing?
Jaylene, this gal who I met through, I work at the Honolulu Club, and she worked there with me. And she's young, but she was kind of an old soul-ish kind of personality. She was only 22. But she was very devout into hip-hop music, and she knew a lot of stuff in that realm. So I thought, okay, that the gal should, at the time, should know hip-hop really well. And that was when we were just doing the show at my house, literally. It was basically on the Lanai backdrop, because you can see the city, and then we just put the table, and that was it. Ben, who is the Lord Flores, who is the announcer of the show, he works at the Highbrow Room. That's Aloha Beer Company on Queen Street. They have a speakeasy bar-esque thing above that's not open Sunday through Wednesday. Can we just show up and just record in there and just to use the space? He said yes, and then the owners are super cool, and we just did it. And the first episode was the Halloween one, where we had Lopaka Kapanui in there. Now, I would love to have Lopaka Kapanui come to my home, maybe bless it, but I was like, no, he's not gonna buy into this. So I'm like, that's where we're like, come to the Highbrow Room and just we'll record. And there was no one there. It was just him, Jaylene, Ben was there. My current co-host, Sky, was there as well, just to hang out and just listen to the stories. But that was it. Then that's when I got the idea of, okay, well, if we're doing this thing here, it's a bar, and they're opening it up for us, why don't we just see if, like, invite people to just hang out and just show up, and then they can just go drink and then go eat. Because there's a kitchen. Then they can make some money here, and then we can pay for our time here. So that's when it got me thinking, let's do it and make it have an audience. Because the most fun we had was at the dinners when we were talking in front of people. So it's good vibe, and you never know what kind of, get laughter, get whatever, comments, whatever. So that's how it evolved into the live thing. I found another gal. Her name was Libby. I met through the local hip-hop scene. She would be always out and about, and she would be this gal who would go out to these hip-hop events by herself. And she's a tall, haole gal. And you do not see that in the hip-hop concert or events. You just do not. Very, very attractive gal that would go out on her own at night by herself. I was like, wow, this is pretty impressive that she has the confidence to do this. And she's not from here. And when I first met her, I overheard her saying that she wanted to be a news reporter. She wanted to get into the TV news industry as a reporter. Maybe she would want to do the show because she wants to be on camera to be a news reporter. So maybe that'll be a good way to get her in there, and she'll enjoy it, and she'll be okay with cameras and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was not the case, no. So that was, and I love her to death because she's the nicest gal, very positive gal. She told me you shouldn't call women girls because we're women. So you should just say gal instead. And I still to this day now it's stuck in my head. So I make sure I don't say the word girl. Yeah. And you have these lights looking at you, people looking at you. I get it. You have the camera looking at you. It's not easy situation. So she told me directly that she couldn't be on the show anymore, and I totally understand. But she still would help me recruit guests. So great. Through friends, another gal, this girl Tiffany, her angle was she was local, which was good. Not so much into the music situation, but I was thinking maybe if we could just find someone that's local, so that we can she'll get the local jokes and get the local humor and whatnot. I just had her on periodically, maybe like once a month or a situation like that. At that point, that's when I decided maybe I should just do the solo, and just do the solo thing and just not talk to myself per se. That's where I would have my co-host, where Sky is basically, he's like the producer of the show. He's like Baba Booey. Like that guy.
That's Stern.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Who were the TV talk shows? Because you have the video element, so there must be something that you're like, this works. We can do this. Who were you watching when you were a kid that was like?
Oh yeah, because I was heavily into watching TV as a kid, because just raised by my mom, and she was working all the time, so I would be at home.
Latchkey kid.
Latchkey is what they call it.
Yeah.
And
in my generation, I don't know what they called it.
Who knows what anyone's calling? They were still called latchkey.
Barely.
I asked my teachers that when I was crying in grade school when nobody wanted to play with me.
Why won't they pick me
Gosh,
up?
this is like. I honestly say TV raised me because I would watch everything. David Letterman.
Yeah.
Love David Letterman. Love Gary Shandling.
Oh yeah.
Those are my top two as far as just their demeanor, their style,
their humor.
The humor. David Letterman's talk show it's still the NBC version. I never liked when he went to CBS. I liked because it was raw in NBC.
It was everything that Johnny Carson was not.
Exactly, right. But he still had that degree of professionalism with the sarcasm. But it was like where he was in control, but he would make like he wasn't in control. That kind of like how Shandling would have it with his shtick of how he looked nervous up there, but he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Acting.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a role. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And that was heavy. And then I have to say the Cosby Show really that sitcom was major for me. The show, if we go back to the 80s, monumental shows, a massively popular show. And it was just amazing seeing, because the whole premise is like he's a doctor, she's a lawyer, and they have this family, and they're well-to-do, and it was a very diverse crowd that they would bring in there. They would bring in like their friends, and you'd be like, there'll be white guys, Asian guys, Puerto Rican guys, Mexican guys, Adam Sandler's walking in there. And they never really cared. It was just like, all the races were in the show.
It wouldn't be like highlighting like, I know this ethnicity kind of thing, or this socioeconomic thing. It was just like, this is just the environment.
People.
Yeah, this is the community.
This isn't the black people show. This isn't the white people show. It was just so diverse. And I guess it indirectly gravitated to me being a mixed kid and being in Hawaii where we see all these people. And that kind of always hit me in the back of my head. I was like, oh, this is something. And his humor too on the show, where he plays a sarcastic dad too, and he's always making these rolling his eyes, and that sarcastic humor I always loved. And so it was a lot of that. It was a lot of Nick at Night. It was a lot of Dennis the Menace reruns. It was a lot of My Three Sons.
Oh, okay.
Dobie Gillis.
Oh, Nick at Night.
Yeah, the black and white stuff. You Can't Do That on Television was big. I mean, of course, the cartoons, Star Wars, Transformers, G.I. Joe, the whole thing.
But your podcast live stream show, it's a live stream. It's not live to tape?
It's live to tape. It's not live streaming yet. Yeah. It's a live to YouTube. I edit it. I edit the whole thing. I have somebody finally helping me with the audio version, so I release it as a podcast.
Yeah.
And that's on the whole iTunes and things. And then the video is the video version, basically. There's some stuff I'll make exclusive to the video version, because it just looks better on video, but that's kind of like the two best of both worlds situation. But I don't like the word podcast. I'm going to make it be record on here. I'm not a fan of the word podcast. I tell people I have a show. It's a show. I'm old. I'm gonna say it's a show. So I always say it's a Sleep Times Over show. I don't. When people say the Sleep Times Over podcast, I'm like, fine. But I get it.
Because the podcast is just a format.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not against the format of the podcast itself. Like I could do this all day if we wanted to, but it's just the fact that to be labeled that. That's where I want this to evolve and get bigger too. I mean, I understand the YouTube situation, but I would think next would be to have it like on a network situation. That's my goal.
For the moment, it's still at Highbrow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when do you record it?
We recorded Tuesday nights.
And tell me, all the people in your current crew with this who come in to set up the audio, the recording, and the lighting, and then who breaks it down? Like who's your core team?
I got to say off the bat that they're all helping me out for free here, because we're not losing money here, but we're not making anything on this, right? It's basically like a passion. I hope, but it's basically a passion.
Because we're all learning
project.
Skills by doing it.
Correct, right.
By
We're
participating.
still learning every day of this situation. So how it evolved, I got Sky to just be, because he's a movie nerd, he's a pop culture guy, so I figured he can be like a stat boy situation, and he loved the whole formatting of it. Who goes by the sommelier to the stars, because he's in real life a sommelier, a wine sommelier. So that's his thing. Then I have a DJ for the show, because you got to have a musical component to this.
Because you can't do everything.
Oh, you're telling me. So we have, so I figured, I got to get like a Branford Marsalis, Doc Severinsen kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I have DJ Freeze, who I've known from back in the day, and from Stone Groove Family, and from G-Dog and all that, right? So have him be the DJ and be the music conductor of the show. So, and just to have that music element to keep that, so you see a DJ. And then we would have I finally got somebody to help me with the sound, so that's Kale, who helps me with the sound, because I can't man the board while I'm over here standing there. That'll be impossible. So thankfully, he's the backbone to the show, because if there's no sound, I say on the show every time when we sign off, there's no sound, that's it.
Yeah.
So he's an integral part of it. I have Jay, who is, I deem the social media director, because he loves IG storing. He talk about millennials, talk about these kids. They love the IG stories. You just click away. So he's really good at that. So I said, why don't you just take care of that during the show? He's the social media director. He now has a mic, so now he can talk as well. So I put him strategically. I put Sky to the right of me. I put him to the left of me. I put Freeze, who has now the Freeze cam, the one who sets up everything and gets it all put together, laid out, unloads it, takes it back home.
The roadie.
The roadie is my wife, who I don't even know how the hell she puts up with this
And her name?
crap. Oh, and that's at Honey Wahine. Laurie, it's weird calling people names. It's weird saying these names, because I just don't ever say these names.
What do you mean, their social handles? Or their
I'd rather say
actual names?
their natural names. It's just weird. But yes, she, and then she also, here's another thing, she does cupcakes. She's a baker. So she has a company.
And what is the name of the company?
The name of the company is Sakai and Company. It's like a play on Tiffany and Company.
Yeah.
And she does catering and whatnot, but then I have her make cupcakes for each episode to give free to the people who show up.
Brick and mortar, or is it just like online reservations?
Online, yeah.
Okay, what's the website?
Oh, it's basically her Instagram. It's Sakai, at Sakai and Company.
Okay.
And that's it, yeah. And she's been doing that for a couple years now. She, I have to say, is the integral backbone of the whole show, because she sets up all of the crap, and then she breaks it down and helps break it down, and it's mostly her. In fact, it's all her, really. And the
She's
cupcakes,
helping you fulfill your dream.
which is insane to me.
Or who schedules the guests?
Myself.
Okay.
So I'm just messaging everyone. For the most part, I take care of the social media. I edit the video. Without any hiccups, and everything goes accordingly, we start at 8:30 p.m. And we'll be done by 10 p.m.
Okay, that's
with
good.
breaks.
Yeah.
Right. Depending on the guests we have, too. Usually we have like one guest and then one musical performer. So we'll do an opening segment, like what's been going on around the town.
Your
and then
monologue,
we go,
yeah.
Right. And then we go to guests, talk to musical performer performs, good night. About an hour. Podcast can go, there's shows on.
Show.
Right, you see? Well done. I don't know, like, do people have the attention span in 2020?
Yeah.
Right?
They have the attention span. They have the time. If they're enjoying it, they can come back to me.
The intermissions are gone, you know, back in the day, there would be. So I don't know. I mean, I always ponder what should we do with the show, and then I always think, because we have this audience now, I don't want to bore them with a long show. You never know. These are the things I just always got to be thinking. I just love to entertain people. I just want to see people laugh and just see people just be happy. We're far too serious around the town, and we're just serious people in general, and we're all just pissed and sad.
Yeah.
So I figure that's what the whole basis of this is, just be a fun, entertaining thing that, in essence, celebrates Hawaii and is diverse. That's where I got the diversity thing from. Was from Cosby. Make this a show where it looks like the set does not look like we're in Hawaii. Hosted by a guy like me that people probably think I'm not from Hawaii, and I bring on people that are gonna be from Nanakuli, that are gonna be from the military, gonna be from wherever, just everyone, and make it where you don't see. I don't see it. And that's the game plan.
So what's your origin story? Where are you originally from? Are you like born and raised here?
Born and raised here.
On Oahu?
On Oahu, yeah. Single parent with, my mom raised me.
Which neighborhood?
In town, so Baratania Street. Growing up, I was pretty much a loner, because growing up in school, being a mixed kid, the Japanese kids didn't want to play with me.
So what are you? You refer to you pop-up.
Yeah, I'm Japanese, German, Polish. And never met my dad. My dad was the German side. He left when I was 2, so I have no recollection of him.
Is Sakai your mom's name?
Yeah. And just from there, just being a kid who was kind of that's, I guess, what led to my go against the grain, because I really had no friends growing up. I was always in parent-teacher conference. What's going on?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm a kid. I'm not supposed to know anything. And it just led to just me doing my own thing and just being independent. And where everybody would go to play after school, I would just go home. I was going to watch TV.
Right.
And that's kind of what led my grade school years. I went to a school it was next to Central Union, it was called Bigham Track Elementary. From there, she took me to private school at Mid-Pac.
You're very expressive now.
Yeah.
You know, as a keiki, you were pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Were you shy? Okay.
I was shy. If you were to talk to me one-on-one, I would talk to you, but I like to observe. I was an observer and a listener. I would just watch what people would do. I'm always an avid supporter of people. More people need to listen nowadays. People are not listening to each other enough, I think. I don't know.
Does your wife say you're a good listener?
Probably not. But I digress.
So you're saying what I'm hearing.
Yeah. This is
you
why
don't
I want
practice.
Someone to call me out. Yeah. I totally
should
agree.
pull out like a couch. It's like, so Aaron,
Right.
How do you feel about?
Guilty as charged. High school was, okay, meeting people, and it got better, but it was still like, here I am, I'm this person who likes all the hip hop music. Where back in the 90s, it was such a new thing.
1990s, yeah, it was like
Nobody
a
liked
fad.
it. It was a fad. Nobody knew who any of these people are. I'm gonna tell people I'm listening to Souls of Mischief. They're gonna look at me and just stare at me like, what the hell are you talking about? That was the thing that just kept me the anti-situation. And I would be friends and be diplomatic. That's when I knew to just be political, and I knew how to play the game. That's when I learned that in high school. Not be part of any crew, not be a jock, not be the pot smoker, not be the cool people. Be cool with all of them.
Yeah.
And I learned that a lot in high school, because I was in wrestling, but I didn't want to necessarily just be only hanging out with the jocks. I wanted to hang out with the nerds.
Misfit. You were a misfit.
Right.
And just misfitting in. So.
Anytime I would find somebody in the classroom, they'll be just like unique, or just somebody that no one would want to talk to, I would kind of gravitate to be like, how you doing? What's going on? I like that. And then after that, that's what led to starting to DJ. That's after high school I started to DJ.
How did you find the music? Since you were living in town, the College Station, that's one track. Was it also like MTV? And,
heavily MTV. If MTV Raps did not exist, I don't know how I would have steered my path to that. Punk and hip hop were my top 2 favorite genres. And then that would be Tower Records, that would be Jellies, Funk Pistol.
Aww.
I love Funk Pistol.
Yeah.
Shout out Funk Pistol. Love that store. I'll never forget seeing that in I think it was Honolulu Advertiser at the time. They did an article on Funk Pistol. I think it had Size 1 in there.
Yeah.
Just like doing a hip hop kind of thing. I'm like, what is this? And I looked it up. I was like, oh, there's a hip hop store? And
And it was really like underground
Yeah.
stuff. It was,
I was
the
blown
animals
away.
ate them kind
Right,
of thing.
Crime Inc., extra large, the Beastie Boys company. That blew my mind. I was like, how does this exist in Hawaii? It's amazing. But that came from UMTV Raps, that came from buying magazines, the Source magazine, heavily into that. All in Tar Records, anything that had hip hop or rap on it, just grabbed them all. Got a job at 15, so that's how I got my money.
Isn't that exciting? It's like remembering, like seeing something new. You actually had to leave your home
Exactly.
and go on the bus or
Yeah, research.
bike it or something. Yeah.
It was a lot of just, you had to research on your own, and I was being a fanatic about it. And since I was alone, I had all this time to go and look up everything. And go to Choice Cuts out in Wahiawa, which was, back in the day, there was this guy out in Wahiawa that had a record store, and he had mostly hip-hop stuff and tapes. And I'm like, and once I found out about that, catch the bus.
Yeah.
Go over there and then go eat at Wendy's after.
Was
and
it just
celebrate.
you?
Oh yeah.
So did you have a Walkman or a Discman or?
I always loved tapes over CDs for some reason, because they're just more compact.
Yeah.
And then I would, if I really liked it, then I would buy the vinyl, just to have it as a keepsake, not knowing that that would be a thing. But I always wanted to have the record. It just looked great to have a vinyl record. Tower Records, Hungry Ear, jellies, heavily into jellies. And that's how I accumulate my music. I'd just be labeled as, here's this guy that has all this rap music that nobody knows about. But then they'd ask me periodically here and there what it was. Then I got into the R&B scene. The neo soul was a big thing in the late 90s. Always loved Sade, but then I always thought it was like Sade with beats. And then that's how I got into Erykah Badu and all that, the groove theory, the Danforth, right? Brand New Heavies, right? Then that was like, wow, maybe I should just start DJing. Maybe I should get into this and just playing around with these records. And that's when I saved up to go and get the turntables and get the mixer.
And how did you find out what equipment you needed in
yeah.
order to do what you were hearing?
Yeah, I had no clue.
Okay.
No idea, because there's no internet, right? So I just had no idea. Well, it was coming in at like 96, 97, but I was just like, I just watched what everybody was doing in the videos. I was watching that. Oh, okay, there's a thing
There
there.
was still nobody like in school where you just could like, because they were all smoking by the gym or something.
Yeah,
or
bro,
off
like,
campus.
Yeah, off campus. Djing, right. I went to Kalani. I don't know if it's a shout out. It wasn't anybody really there that, although Humanakas did originate from there with Tasho and all, they did. I remember seeing them at a pep rally, or one of those after school things where they would have a brown bags to stardom situation. So they were there, but they left by the time I was a junior or senior. So there was really
And
no
this
one.
is still in the 1990s.
We're still in the 90s. We're looking at 94, 95. I was blown away. I was like, these are people that know what I'm talking about, I think. Because it was always amazing to me. Like,
because at that age,
yeah.
it's just everything is so fresh and new.
Right.
And that's when you're figuring out like, is it good? And then like gaining the confidence of like, but do I like it?
Exactly. Searching all this stuff. We're buying all these albums because the Source magazine is telling us it's 4 mics.
Yeah.
Or the Source magazine is saying it's 5 mic classic.
Yeah.
Get the Nas Illmatic album. Okay, I'm gonna go get it.
Yeah.
And and you get it, you like it, but I'm like, does anybody else like it?
Who was the hip hop artist or artist that not defined your love for hip hop, helped you connect with other people, a common artist?
Word association came into mind, World Beast, Souls of Mischief, Hieroglyphics, Del the Funky Homo Sapien.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
that,
getting chicken skin, but because it reminds me of when I was at
Right.
Radio Free Hawaii. Yeah.
Exactly right. And I can see a lot of people in Hawaii gravitated to that. They like the hieroglyphic symbol. They like to get the shirt, and you'd have the circle with the, and that was one thing that a lot of people liked, that connected. Gangstar was another thing.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people loved Gangstar. In the 90s, just finding somebody that actually knew what I was talking about was mind-blowing to me. I don't know if anybody gets that kind of feeling in 2020 about something, but it was
Still,
just,
but it's
because
yeah.
it's everywhere now.
Did you also adopt the streetwear, or was it just like it's the music? I get the culture, it's like I
Right.
appreciate the culture, but I don't have to wear it on my sleeve. Or were you like full throttle?
Oh, we're wearing the clothes. Oh yes.
Tell me some of the
We have to. I love
brands.
boots. I love Doc Martens, which is kind of confusing to the people of the 90s because Doc Martens is usually like a punk thing, or like Susie and the Banshees. But no, the hip hoppers are wearing the
Yeah,
boots, and then they're tucking the jeans in the boots. So I would do that, cross colors. if you remember these brands, Carl Kanai, extra large, even back 555 Soul, and then going into the late 90s where you had the Nautica, Tommy Hilfiger era.
How about some of the local, do you remember some of the local brands or logos? Because a lot of them would sponsor events.
Yeah.
And then they would also have the merch. I don't know at how that crossed over. Because you had mentioned earlier about like information. Like
right.
That's, but
so that was
like
later.
A little bit later.
Yeah, there was that era where it was information, and then that led to, Kicks Hawaii was coming up. So there was that era for it. Then you had Flip the Bird later on. As far as just the clothing, I just remember wearing a lot of TNC shirts with Thriller Gorilla, and then moving on to
such a good logo.
It's amazing,
art, yeah.
right? It's so great
Didn't
that
they
brought
bring it back? They
yeah,
brought it back?
the artists brought it back, but they can't use the TNC logo. But it's all the characters, which is smart. That the skater companies, Vision Streetwear.
Who are you skate? Do you still skate now?
Ugh, no.
Who are your heroes in the day?
Okay, so you know how you cringed when I said Bill Cosby, right?
I actually have a picture with Bill Cosby. That can be another story. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
If you remember Mark Gator Rogowski.
Yes.
Who it was
that documentary.
The Stoke documentary, where he goes and puts the girl in the body bag and buries him. What the heck was that about? But yes, that was, when that story came out, that was just insane. Because I saw that in a Thrasher magazine, you know, there's no internet, right? So I'm seeing this, like, what? And that was the first skateboard I got, was the Vision Gator skateboard, which is an iconic design, right? All those designs in general, but that was the one. And I was like, okay, that's the first. You've got to be my favorite guy for just being the fact that I randomly got that skateboard.
How do you process that? What does that do to your opinion? What does it say about me as a person?
Yeah.
But it doesn't. Yeah.
I just differentiate. I mean, this is what they're doing in their element there. This is a whole other situation that I don't agree with, and you just separate them out. You know, you could do the same with Chris Benoit, the wrestler, kills his family. Right. Top pro wrestler of all the years. This is another thing I'm into too. Is I love pro wrestling as well. I loved it as a kid. I watched that a lot as well. Ric Flair. That guy. The way that they talk was always the thing that I loved. Just
give me a signal and I'll tune back in.
Okay, got it. Good thing I only mentioned that now. Back to skateboarding.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
But Christian Asoy, of course, because it's Christian Asoy.
Here's
the Japanese guy.
Have you ever met any of these?
I met Christian Asoy, 1989, where they came to Blaisdell, where they had the pro skating competition at the Blaisdell for the first time ever. The mini ramp competition. Went to Sarah's Surf and Shore for autograph session. Met him, met the dad, met Sergio Ventura, who was riding for him at the time, and blown away. Again, I had the skateboard. He autographed the skateboard. What would you change of the skateboard? He would ask me. I'm like, he looked at the whole thing. He's like, oh, what would you? And then, hey, little man. And I'm like, the rails. Horrible answer. But
why as a grown man? Why is that a horrible answer?
Well, as a kid, that was a horrible answer. I just felt like it said something lame. You know, to Christian Asoy, here he is. I'm right in front of him, and you know, as a kid, this iconic guy. And
but he was talking with you. He was really interested.
That freaked me out.
Yeah.
Because meeting celebrities at that point, who knows what I'm supposed to do there?
Yeah. How about now? So, on your program, your show, you have a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to me now. I just get excited about it. It's that kind of a feeling. It's not the whole freaking out thing, but just the more the excitement. Oh wow, here he is, and finally get to talk to him. And that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like when I met Mark Paul Gosselaar. It was just exciting. Whoa, I'm nervous, but I was like, can't wait to talk to this guy. You know, so feeling.
Did you tell him anything?
Oh yeah. I walked up to him and I was just like, you know, Mark, I just want to be frank with you. The only reason I'm here at this nerd is to see you. And he just started laughing and was like, and he said, hey, you're a brave guy. And I'm like, I'm here for you, Mark. And then it went into that, and I told him what my DJ name is, Zack Morse. And then he asked me a weird question after that. He was like, how long have you been DJing? Pretty much for over 20 years. So it's been 20 years. I've been waiting 20 years to finally meet you, man. And, you know, I was like, okay. And he was cool about it. I kind of have grown into being more social because of the show. And just in general, just to be out there and just to meet people more so. And I don't mind it. And in my day job, I'm talking all day anyway, and I'm asking everybody questions and asking stuff.
When you decide to have people on your show,
Yeah.
how do you decide timing-wise?
It's either, if it's a music person, I try to coordinate it when they have some new album coming out or something new that they want to share. Somebody that's been hard to get for a while, if you're available, let's do it.
I'm curious how you, when you were like as a DJ spinning records or CDs?
Records, never CDs.
Vinyl. I don't
Vinyl
know.
all day, you know,
Yeah.
the purists, true. Not anymore, I use like, you know, the MP3s now, whatever, but yeah, vinyl only.
For you,
Yeah.
when did you find out, like, or have the confidence to just heck with it? I'm just like, I know I'm good, or I know there's an audience for this, and
Yeah,
you know,
I looked at it that, like,
Yeah.
there's an audience for this. I didn't ever think I was good. I always would be like terrified or just be like nervous or whatnot, and just, so I would just, going back to when I was a kid, I would just observe. I watch what everybody's doing. I watch who does what, how everyone acts, how everyone's DJing style is, and then just looked at what just sounds good. Let's just look at what, it's music. We're supposed to like music that sounds good, from what I thought. So let's look at how does DJing sound. So it'll be people like a DJ XL or a DJ Sub-Zero.
yeah. Who are some of your local favorites? Because you just mentioned people with like very different styles and approaches to how they present their
Correct,
music.
right.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was
And I know you're not
cafe-
going to be able to name everybody,
Well,
but
right.
yeah.
But I gotta go. Like, I always just, if I were to association it, it's DJ XL. To me, would be my idol as far as who I wanted to strive to be. Because the blending. I love blending. I love when people mix the records together, and people. It's a lost
Just so,
art.
and very thoroughly. Just,
Thoroughly
yeah.
and cleanly. Just a clean style. That's what I always gravitated to wanting to become and try to emulate. And Sub-Zero, I just remember from back in the day when I used to sneak into Cafe Valentino's. But yeah, that's how I remember him. And then DJ Min, they would play on KTUH. They would play on Soul 69 with Mr. E. And that would be always the show on, I think it was Tuesday or Thursday nights on KTUH. Static was another one.
Monty!
Correct,
Yeah.
yes. Rude Funk. And I loved his show on Radio Free. And that was the deal. That was the guys who were the ones I looked up to as far as figuring it out.
Did you ever spend a lot of time with these cats?
Never met Monty in person. We just knew of each other. Excel, I've spun with many times. And I always just wanted, when I meet these people for the first time, it's just like, how are you going to act? You don't want to come off as like this weirdo or come off as this arrogant person or just come off as this know-it-all or like full of his own shit. So it was always just learning how to play the game and learning how to meet all these different people. So I guess that evolved me.
Yeah. Because you're coming into their
Space,
environment.
their world,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. Understood.
And I just don't want to step on anybody, and step on any lines or cross anything. So I just want to be respectful. So I soaked it all in and just observed people's behavior and just seeing all of this stuff. And I was still, I was talking more talkative, but I was still on the shyer side. I'm still gonna be quiet because I don't want to break any, I don't want to step on anybody's thing.
Yeah.
So I was quiet, and the only person really I would talk to or make jokes with was Cavett in that time. Pretty much 2003, 2004, I took a break from DJing. I think I was just burnt out. But at that part, I think I was one of the only people that DJ'd for two different factions, I guess, because you had all the party promoters. You'd have, if you remember, remember Stone Groove Family, and then you'd have the Architects, and you'd have Rick Rock Productions. You have all these different little things. Kaizo Speed Gear, right? Shout out Asian Avenue, right? And I was the only guy, I guess, that DJ'd for both Architects and Stone Groove Family. People would be coming up to me like, wow, that's crazy. You DJ for both.
Back then, you had to be only of one house.
Well, I think because of hip hop being like everybody wants to be in their crew.
Oh,
Crews,
understood. Yeah.
Okay. The Wu-Tang mentality. We're in our crew. This is our crew. There's that crew and there's that crew. I didn't look at it as any crews. I just look as people, and I like you. I'll help you out, and that's it. And then that's how I just kind of like high school again. Just be cool with everybody. Grant, you need me to help you at Brew Moon? All right. And then I was there from Blue Moon for all the way till the closing. If it wasn't for Grant, that he taught me a lot as far as playing in front of a crowd and what worked. And then playing R&B in front of a crowd, playing hip hop and R&B in a crowd. So I have him to thank for evolving my DJ career. I look at as an idol of mine as far as playing for a crowd, knowing how to get in and out of songs themselves. The style that he had where he would play a Sade and then play the Tribe Called Quest and then play James Brown. Yeah. How do you put that and mingle it together to get people to dance or be interested? I credit to him, and he let me open for him when Blue Moon started, and years later, that kind of taught me a lot.
How much you bench? No.
Do you bench, bro? Do you lift, bro?
How long have you been a personal trainer?
Since 2006. Went to school for it in 2003 after I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back to school and just get this figured out. Originally went to school for business. It didn't click because I was finding this hip-hop world. So it just didn't interest me at the time, school, because I'm trying to figure this all out. So then I started DJing, and then I didn't go to school. And then 2003 was when I decided to go back to school, and that's why I took the year off from DJing. 2004 comes around, I'm like, I should get back into it because I miss it. So went back into DJing in 2004 as I was still in college, as I had a part-time job. The part-time job I had was working at Down to Earth. I was working in there, and I worked in the supplement department. They are a vegetarian store. They have dairy, but they don't have eggs, meat, chicken, fish, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And when you work in that vitamin department, let alone you have the hippies coming in, and you have all the college kids coming in, eating candy, thinking they're vegans. You have a lot of those. But you have all these people that come in with their problems, these medical problems.
Oh,
and they're saying, I have a cold, what should I do? I have a sore throat, what should I do? I need to think better, what should I do? And I didn't know jack about any of this. So I had to go and study this all. And just reading up, what is ginkgo? All this stuff, all these people come up with serious issues. And they're just unloading this stuff to just a stranger that's working in this market. So it just blew me away. So I figured, I'm going to get killed in this department until I learn this stuff. So I went and I studied all this stuff. And a lot of it turned into like, well, do you exercise? I'm like, no. Well, if you did, you might be okay.
Did you exercise a lot back then? Were you a gym rat?
I did have spa fitness, Punahou Spa for the win, because it was cheap. Hanging out with the mama sons, they're there. Yeah, it was about around $20 a month, which is, But then I would always work out in high school, and then I was in wrestling in high school. And I know about exercise to a degree of just from working out myself. All these problems could be solved if you just were to exercise, and then you'd be healthier. So then that got me thinking, oh, why don't I just help people exercise? Why can't we just go the old-fashioned way and just let's just get people moving around? And so I built my conversational rapport, I guess, talking to people in Down to Earth. That led me to being conversational in rapport, being a personal trainer. And that led me to go to school for kinesiology, and that led me to go back. And that's how I became that, 2003, 2004. Then started working at the Honolulu Club as an intern, and that was 2003. And learning the gym environment. I've never worked in a gym before, so I wanted to see this gym environment. And I always thought Honolulu Club back in the day was like the creme de la creme, right? So I was like, I gotta make my way over there. That's the only place I'm gonna go to. I knew that that's where it was supposed to be at.
And you're still there?
And I've been there since 2003.
Wow.
Yeah. I was interning, and then I led to just someone who would just be like a floor monitor kind of a situation, work 1 day a week kind of a thing. And all while I was going to school. And my boss knew that I was in school, so he was kind of like, well, whenever you're ready, we'll just get you in there, like that kind of a thing. So at that time, I'm back to observing again. I'm observing the crowd, observing these gym people, observing personal trainers themselves. The primary goal is we're supposed to help people. We're supposed to help people get this whole weird world of gyms and working out. I mean, it's a weird world. You're going into this gym with all this heavy equipment, doing these weird moves that just sort of seems awkward. And amongst people, it's scary. It's a scary world. Let's figure this out to get you to be okay, get you healthy, and you can get out of here. That's my whole make you comfortable in the gym environment.
You are that person for these people who want to, whatever their goal is, whatever their body goal is, whatever reason, you are that person that could have showed up for you when you were a kid.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, right? Yeah, I've never, if I look back, no one really made me feel comfortable in the environment. I had to figure it out on myself.
Yeah.
So that's why I think
so great.
That's why I tried to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I vowed to do it. What I couldn't get. You know, I always like to look back at what didn't happen to me. I'm gonna make happen to someone else.
Good for you, Aaron. That's really good.
No,
did you know? I mean, did you intention that, or did you just kind of like, over time, you're like, you know, people keep on coming back, and it's because of this relationship.
That's what that's what I want to strive to, just be myself and just be a real person and just guide that person in a real manner. It's a culmination of just me growing up and just not getting that kind of situation, and then just being against the grain, and that led me to start to mentoring trainers myself. So I then started becoming like a trainer of trainers, which is something that I always wanted to do as well. So I love doing that. And that's the thing I would tell them, is just make them feel comfortable. Make that person feel comfortable first, then they will trust you, then they will stay with you, that rapport, you know. So that's kind of the formula for, it's like a bartender or like a hairstylist. You're listening. It's the same situation. People vent to you. I'm asking questions all day long. Thus, I'm talking all day.
Is your mom still with us?
Yes. She's still, she remarried. I have a half brother as well. All the way till she retired, she was a director at Sheraton Waikiki. She was a director of conventions. She was always working. She's a talker like myself. I have to say, I have to have gotten it from her. I don't know how else, but it kind of grew into me. But she was a major talker. I would go visit her at her work. I would go hang out with her at her office and then see how she observe again. I'm in the office with her all day. I'm seeing all these people coming in and out of her office and talking and this and just kind of taking it all in. And yeah, so that has influenced as well, putting the picture together. I have a half brother in Japan right now. He's teaching English to the Japanese people in Japan. And he does the Japanese singing. What do you call that?
Karaoke?
Yeah.
No.
He's a major karaoke. Old school Japanese singing, like that Akira Hasie. That kind of, you know? You remember this?
I'm gonna have to.
Keizu Radio.
I need. Oh, okay. That's.
You know, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
He works for Keizu Radio. He worked for Keizu Radio. Yeah.
Very Kiku kind of.
Correct.
Like,
right.
Back when there was like the three major networks:
Right.
ABC, CBS, NBC, and Channel 13.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Nippon Golden Network.
Well, it was like and PBS.
And then K Magic.
Oh, I don't know.
You remember that?
No.
Channel 16. K Magic.
No.
That had all the game shows and all the cartoons.
Did you ever get bored with DJing? Did it, like, you ever?
Oh
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
As I got more mainstream events, because it was so formulaic, and the pay has evolved to a lot better now. But even for back then, you're playing some event, you're formulaically playing. You know what song to play at this certain time, at that time. We're making money here, but I have to pack up all this shit and I have to go deal with these crowds. Where am I going to park? What time am I going to finish?
You old man.
Right. It's not glamorous. I mean, I'm not meeting all these women and like, let's go home with a different one every night. No, it's just I'm at home and that's it. I pack up and then I go to Jack in the Box and sit in the car and just cry.
Oh, relatable.
Good call. Yes. Loneliness for the win. I was with Tel Cavett. After an event, I would go to the UH vending machines. They would have a bunch of vending machines where you'd have like pizza and sandwiches and all this stuff. And I would sit there in the courtyard at like 2 a.m. and I just put my coins in. And then I just thought it was like so great to have all this variety of food and there's nobody here. And I just sit there and I just like that. While everybody else is hanging out and going to Sonoya's or something.
Oh, Sonoya's.
Right? I mean, I would go there too eventually, but it comes in cycles. I would just do my own thing.
Yeah.
Like in high school, I'd hang out with everybody and I just go do my own thing.
Yeah. It's like, it's the routine, but it's like, but why are you still doing it if it doesn't serve you anymore? You don't have to continue to do that. You can replace it with something else.
And you could, and I can see how people would think that sounds sad. I mean, just sitting by myself.
Oh no, I mean it's just like
people look at it in certain ways.
Some people don't like their own company.
I get what you're saying. As wild as that was, I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I don't know if a lot of people, they need to be around people all the time. I don't know, but it's just that's how people would always look at it. Because I had a feeling people looked at me doing that, it made me sad in some aspects. I'm like, 2010 came and let's move on to something else. And I still love music. I still love to DJ. If somebody were to call me up and say, can you DJ tonight or DJ at Addiction from 10 to 12?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit. I wouldn't be excited about it.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things. Like when Hip Hop Time Machine comes out. Like,
That's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be all vinyl.
Yeah.
In 2020, let's just see these old guys carry the vinyl in and get their hand trucks. And I'm just saying, it's like
didn't they do that last time?
Right. I always make the joke of it because it's such a pain in the ass to like bring all this equipment.
But that's why it's only occasionally.
Thank God. Because I mean, it's evolved where we're using computers, we're using laptops, we use controllers, which is DJing has become so easy and so convenient.
Are you going to be spinning?
No, because I'm too tired and old. Getting back to that.
Or is that's your excuse? Because you'd be like, I'd be down if somebody would be my Sherpa.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But then it comes to the fact of what records are you going to bring? So you have to go through all your records, open up the storage.
Okay, so your wife is cool having money aside for storage, or is it part of the home?
Part of the home, thank God.
Okay.
Thank God.
How
we
many
have
pieces
storage.
do you have? Let's talk about your vinyl collection.
Okay.
And what is the area that is most accessed? Which genre or?
Hip hop's number one.
Do you take great care of them? Is everything in like plastic sleeves? They're not archived like that?
No, I'm too tired.
Okay, so which ones are like you can just tell by how worn the spine is. Like that's the one you're always grabbing.
Oh, yeah.
Do you make mixtapes for your clients?
God, that's the saddest thing I've heard all year.
Do you have like a Spotify list to work out to?
Oh God, check out my Spotify, bro. I actually do make mixes though, yes, but because I do it for the show. Well, I do it for the show. It's because we have the Patreon account, and the Patreon account is to help as a donation to the show, and then in order to thank you for donating to the show, I put up mixes. So I have a bunch of mixes actually.
How many?
We're looking at about maybe 30 different. And I make I made a Guilty Pleasures mix, R&B mix, a Neo Soul mix, Best of Hip Hop 1993 mix, like that. They're all going to be themed out. So I still do that sense, but then at least I'm in control of it and make it in that way. Like I want to do like a Best of 2010 to 2020 mixtape kind of a series. So there's still that. But the records itself, though, just having to pick out everything. Back in the day when it was records, I would bring a lot of records. I would literally hand truck records in.
And you wouldn't even go through?
Because you just never know. My whole thought process was, you never know who's going to be there and when to go a certain route. Laptops change that, but that's why it's just the whole thought of that is like, I have to go in the storage and I have to go through everything to find out just the ones I want to play, which it's going to be hip-hop, right? It's the Hip Hop Time Machine, but I'm like...
So how many records do you have at home? Do you have 45s too?
45s too. Okay. I'm slowly trying to get rid of the non-picture cover vinyl. In overall, I would have to say, last time I counted was like mid-2000s, 3,000? 3,500 or so? I think around there.
That sounds conservative.
Yeah, I totally just made that number up now. I think it's around several thousand. I mean, who's really counting all these records? Is Slant counting his records? Kurt, is she counting your records? Really? I don't know how anybody would do that, but I'm going to say thousands. It takes up a good chunk.
And I bet you don't even know everything that you have. You probably have triple copies.
Oh, yeah.
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 If you're worth your weight in DJing, you have no idea. Like, you have a copy of it somewhere.
Yeah. You have to buy multiples.
And a backup. But
Correct.
that's what you tell your significant other, that it's a backup copy. Because why are you spending money on something you already own? And that's when the arguments happen.
Hashtag
I know
hoarding.
what's up.
Right?
I know what's up.
Good factor. That's true. You got it. And I was a record hoarder. So if I was at Jelly,
if you have over
I still have it.
3,000,
Yeah. But at Jelly's, if I saw something I already had, I'd buy it. If I saw like 93 Till Infinity, Souls of Mischief, I saw that single, even though I had it already, I would buy just for the fact of rare, value, domination. So I wasn't maybe well liked by the collector. So yes, in bidding, I have multiple copies of things.
Do you buy things online?
When that was when that hit, when you had the online vinyl, Fat Beats was one. Sandbox Automatic. Anybody into hip hop remembers that one? Yeah, New York. It was a company out of New York, and all records, and you would order online, send the check in the mail. No online ordering, no Shopify. You got to send a check. So I had that. So it continued on all the way to 2000s. Definitely online. And Two Grooves as well is another place. You remember that one, right?
Yeah.
So Jellies. The beat. Oh, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was and I was part of the record pool with Kevin. Yeah. So that was by University, by Jiffy Lube, Burger King. Yeah. Been there all the time. Yeah. Shout out to Kevin. I tell you what, that guy, he had the whole finger on the scene. So that's a legendary guy. We have to shout him out. There all the time as well. He was so that's where we would get all our club songs from. So yeah, iconic. So that was the deal.
Do you have any pieces of vinyl that are just never? You just cannot part with it. You can't sell it. It's like if there was a fire, you'd grab your wife and like.
Like I grabbed the cats. There's a pecking order who was grabbing up, but yeah, I mean, anything it's picture cover related or anything that takes me back from like 1993 to 95. That was a picture cover, because I just know that era like stuck with me the most. It was kind of the golden era of hip hop music anyway. Everything kind of really peaked then, and a lot of stuff came out. And if it was a picture cover, if a lot of stuff gets repressed and reissued anyway, so it's give or take. But something that I know is not going to be some very obscure thing, yeah, there's no way. So I'd go that route for the most obscure stuff that maybe only Kevin and I would know.
Anything off the top of your head?
There was this one called only I think Cavett, and shout out DJ Delve, who I think we're the only people that know. Boostin' Kev is the name of the artist, and the song was called We Be Boostin'. And it was basically about him shoplifting all these like Nautica and Tommy Hilfiger. So he made this song basically about him shoplifting, and it was a very rare song. He was from, I think, the Bay Area. It was this was 94, 95-ish. Hard to find record. I found it on eBay, $30. Get it. And found it. And I always go back to that because I know no one knows it. It's a quirky little song. I heard this first on a DJ Tim mixtape, and he's from San Francisco, and I bought that at Funk Pistol. So that's where I first heard it, and I was like, wow, this is all right. And I couldn't find anything on him. I read all the magazines, didn't find any information on him. Fast forward, you ever heard of Boostin' Kev? Yeah, for real. Oh, Boostin'. And that was it. I think Kevin's got a copy of that too, but there's only literally two other people that can know that song in Hawaii. Hopefully more, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's just one of those things that like bring people together. That's just like in the music world, in that time in hip hop, like where you have these obscure things that you think you're the only one in the world that knows of, and then you find that person. And in regards to like when we have the guests, we do have them play like a little game where like, if it's a DJ, we'll have them play this game called Who Dis, where we'll play a song and they gotta guess the artist, stuff like that. We're gonna do that for Hip Hop Time Machine. We're gonna be in March. We're gonna have the first. We're gonna have a DJ panel discussion on the show of all the DJs playing at Hip Hop Time Machine, and then I'm gonna go and mess with them and then do a Who Dis and do obscure song. Can you guess this song, guys? Pressure. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, so we're gonna have there's 6 guys DJing this thing. So I'm like, so you guys are all old, right? I tell them, I'm like, so is the prime spot like the 10 to 11 spot, or is it the closing spot? Because you want to go home, right? That'll be some reminiscing DJ stories and whatnot.
And it's not necessarily like any kind of end game to it. It's just until it's not fun anymore.
I think so, yeah. But I love where it's going. I'm still having fun. It's tiring as hell. I always ask myself when I'm driving around, I'm like, periodically like, does anyone care?
Could you stop? I mean, you think about it, just like you don't have to explain to anybody to stopping or just.
Well, I don't like to quit. I hate quitting. I don't.
Jesus doesn't like a quitter.
Well, I'll have a talk with him or her. That's how it's always been. I just don't want to be the person to say, well, I used to do this, and then I just stopped. I can't live with myself if I do that. So I don't know how this would end unless it kills me.
Ooh.
How's that dramatic?
That's the counter. I'm going to start a counter clock.
Honestly,
be like pushing daisies up.
right?
Aaron Sakai.
Here they come.
I'm going to learn how to do graphics just for that.
That alone, see, so push you further, see? So then it'll push you further. I don't know. I really never thought of what will happen. I guess if the end result being the show goes to some other type of platform where it'll get more exposure. It's all about getting the show exposure, right? That's really the top priority. How many eyeballs are going to, how many ears are going to be on this? Because I believe it's a good show. I'm still confident that we have something going here that is unique to the island, is unique to local people, and I think people will dig it.
Right.
Just want to continue the growth. And the show's in a better place than it was a year ago, year before that. But so it's just constantly just pushing it because I want to see where this goes. I want to see how far it can go. I don't want to have regret. I don't know. I'm going to die. I think I'm just going to die. I'll die on the show.
Like, that would be a great shtick.
What?
That would be like...
Get up. Get up.
Could this be the show that...
Wow. Do we do an ending or something? Or how do you... Okay. Who watches the last ending of the fade out? There's no,
Perfect. That would be perfect. That sounds good.